Hello and welcome to the show. I don't know why I had this impression that when I was mentally preparing to watch the newest Marvel movie, I had this impression that the main villain will be Bruce Willis. Not the real Bruce Willis, but played by Bruce Willis as a sort of CGI character. The main character kinda looks like Bruce Willis, but then at the end credits, I read that it wasn't involved, so that's just my silly mistake. I don't know why I did that. When I was watching the movie, I was under the impression that it's Bruce Willis. I don't know, it just made the whole experience quite different. But then again, I shouldn't have gone into with that sort of impression in my head. But then again, I did it, so, well, water under the bridge. The film itself was better than expected, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say anything about the film itself. But long story short, if you want to watch it, yeah, sure. I mean, if you like these kind of superhero movies, then you should definitely watch it. But the thing is that this felt way less than a superhero movie. I mean, I was concerned that there are an abundance of characters here that had their own original movie, so they were main characters at some point, and now they are just sort of side characters or supporting characters to this whole movie. So in a way, they lost their uniqueness. They make an appearance. I mean, just for the record, there's obviously Iron Man and Captain America, and if you're familiar with all these names, you just look at them and they do their thing, but every single character only has a couple of minutes of screen time. And then that is something that I felt demoted the characters. But then again, what would you expect when you have a movie with 20 unique characters? But this movie was really about the main villain, Thanos, and everybody was there just to support him. Now, despite it being a silly Marvel movie, just like Black Panther before or Iron Man, any of the movies that came out before this, kind of felt like it had a lot of layers, if that makes sense. And the reason I'm surprised by that is because these movies don't usually have layers. They are not that serious. This had, and they are not the kind of layers that you'd expect not knowing anything about the comic books. Because my biggest problem with the Marvel movies is that there are the comics, and hundreds, thousands of them, and I haven't read any of those. My childhood was defined by Star Trek and Stargate and all these TV shows and movies, and not comic books at all, which is a disadvantage when it comes to me watching the Avengers and all these other Marvel movies. But somehow I had the feeling that if I were to watch it again, I would discover something more, even though it was satisfying for one watch. Ultimately, I think that balance of these many superheroes and the villain and the story and the visuals and all that was quite alright. And the funny thing is that I don't remember much of these previous movies. I watched Black Panther a couple of months ago too. I don't know when it came out, and that was the only thing. But even if you don't know these characters, and I didn't know most of them, it's still an enjoyable movie. Because even though it feels like there must be something more to these characters, they just do the things that are logical. And I think that is my last and final point about the movie. It felt logical. Now, I'm the kind of moviegoer that is relatively stupid when it comes to following the plot, meaning that I do not want to insert myself or my intelligence in between the screen and myself, so I'm just a passive watcher of events happening, which I find relaxing. And lately I noticed that when I watch a movie that makes me kind of bored because there is very little happening or something unbelievably logical, then I can't suspend my disbelief and I will have to think about how stupid they are. I guess admittedly that's why I don't really watch horror movies, because I'm not really afraid of things that happen on the screen, because I'm an adult. But still, the thing is that I just can't support a character's decision that would go into a dark room to investigate rather than go away. However, whatever decisions these characters make, it is apparent what motivates them and why they are making those decisions. And that's all there is to it. I don't want to talk about the movie itself. I may talk about it later, but the truth is that my goal with this kind of episode is really just to give you an idea of what to watch if you don't have anything to watch or any ideas. So yeah, well, that's me. And if you have any specific questions about the movie which can be answered without spoilers, then I'm happy to take that. I'm thinking of the kind of questions like, oh, is there a lot of violence in there? Or maybe because it's a movie for all audiences, is the lack of violence just sad or weird? And well, to answer that question, no, not really. It's kind of, although I feel that the movie could have used a little more of that good old-fashioned violence, simply to make things a little more serious. Well, anyways, I hope my rambling made sense. Thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye bye.